Good day, everyone. This is Dr. Disco, the newbie that is attempting to tackle the biggest fighting game tournament in the world, EVO 2023. For our first episode, I wanted to start with something relatively easy for all of us, and that is fighting game terms. As with everything else in life, there are words and phrases used within the fighting game community that are unique and specific to this particular brand of games. The task I gave myself for this first episode was to compile the most general list of terms everyone should know if they want to play a fighting game and talk about it with their friends and other people. I made this video and list of terms with the help of my friend H. Sake, who is also my local tournament organizer or TO and was kind enough to provide me with the majority of this list, and the best kind of hype, who introduced me to him and cheered me on. Links to their socials will be in the description down below. Also, as much as I wanted to, I couldn't include everything, so I will have other videos going into more nuanced terms coming out later. And at the end of this episode, we will finally answer the question, what is an OKI? Stepping into the fighting game community, FGC for short, has given me a ton to learn about, least of all being the terms used in the fighting game community. Already, we have acronyms and terms in the forms of TO and FGC, but this is only the first of many terms I've come across in my want to understand fighting game lingo. This video was both a lot of fun and a learning experience for me, and hopefully it can be the same for you. To start off with, what is a fighting game? A fighting game is a game where two on-screen characters, well, fight. Usually it looks like this, or this, or this. But sometimes they're platformers like Super Smash Bros. With two or more characters like this, or this. Well, more like this. Melty Blood, the game I want to play, is the first of the two. A one-on-one fighting game with many characters ranging from a bloodthirsty vampire, a literal psychopath, and King Arthur herself. This leads to what characters are, the individual or not, characters that you can pick and choose from to fight another character with. Every character has their nuance and differences, art styles and designs, and own way of playing. There are names for all of these types of characters as well, but since I have no idea what any of them are, I'll leave this untouched and do another video or stream on it. For now, here's a list of the types of characters I could find. Or a mix of them all. If it wasn't already a little overwhelming with that sudden rush of information, it gets a little more complicated here. Next up, we have movement, and more specifically, numpad notation. If you look at this image, you will see that the numbers are in a typical numpad layout, like what you would see on a keyboard. As you can see, there are directions associated with each number. 6 is forward, 4 is back, 8 is up, and 2 is down. 5 is neutral, and that means you're probably idling and not moving anywhere. You apply this notation to sticks, pads, and keys, and it allows for people to write down what they're doing and allows for others to read those written movements and combos. That doesn't mean that I'll be able to fully understand what I'm looking at right away when I scroll this page, but you get the idea. Next up, we have boxes, the hitbox and the hurtbox. Simply put, the hitbox is the part of your move that can actually hit a character, while the hurtbox is what parts of your character or moves can actually be hit. I don't think I need to tell you which one is better than the other. Our next term for the video is frames, which I will also dedicate to its own episode since it apparently has a lot to it, but I will still explain some of it here. Frames, as the name suggests, are the time it takes for any moves to start and finish. It is one of the most basic units of measurement in fighting games. In general, fighting games run at 60 frames per second, which means there are only so many frames you can use to act or else be vulnerable. RPS stands for rock, paper, scissors. In fighting game terms, it's throw, block, and strike. These three are the most basic versions of movements that can happen in a fighting game, where throws beat blocks, blocks beat strikes, and strikes beat throws, which can also be generally called a strike throw. Next up, we have the mix-up, which essentially means what you choose to do in different situations during a game. Whether you throw, block, strike, or do anything else can lead to anything happening. Abare means to choose the wild or unsafe option in any situation, and this is actually Sake's favorite thing to do. Yomi comes from the Japanese word that means to read, which means Yomi is your ability in a fighting game to read your opponent and or correctly guess what they are going to do. Conditioning is to lead your opponent into thinking that you will continue to choose the same option in a mix-up, which allows you to choose to do something else to counter what they've been doing in response. Finally, these last 4 terms lead us to the quintessential question of this video. What is an OKI? Well, here it is. OKI is actually short for the Japanese word okizeme, which literally translates to wake-up attack. Basically, it is the action you choose to take once you've knocked down an opponent. Thus, an OKI is important because if you are able to vary or mix up your OKI to keep your opponent guessing, it can lead to more opportunities to keep attacking and press your advantage. So, as you can see, an OKI isn't actually all that difficult to understand, but it is understandable that hearing the word for the first time could put you off. It definitely made me a little confused, but now I know. And that's it for this video. These are all the terms I thought were essential to start becoming a true fighting game champion. We still have to cover things like characters and frames in more depth, but we can save those for other episodes. For now, I hope this was helpful in enlightening you because it has certainly helped me understand a little more of what my friends do and say when we play together. Thank you for joining me on my first episode of Road to EVO 2023, and I hope you have a wonderful day.